If you're an OG viewer, you know where we are. We are up by the side of the reservoir. We will put ourselves together. Check the timestamps. This is what we're doing. We're live up on the hill. I'll warm up my mouth, do some speaking things. Here we are. We're on the barbed wire. Hopefully, I'm audible. I won't be able to know if you're watching this on replay. You'll obviously know if there's a lot of wind noise or not. I'm yet to be able to check by asking the viewers if there is indeed a lot of wind noise. Welcome, Nitin. I see you in the chat. Can people who are here live, Victor, my man, can you please take a good listen with those keen ears of yours? Do we have a lot of wind noise or not? There's some wind. Do we have wind noise? Yes or no? Is it okay just as a sound check? Because it's a very beautiful day, but it's a very windy day. No? No wind. I mean, you're blowing. See the camera? You're blowing all over the place, but there's no wind. There's no wind noise. Not too bad. Okay. We might need to move down because for whatever reason, yeah, wind is not that bad. Fantastic. Well, welcome everyone. Welcome to the live stream. We're up on the Sunset Hill. Maybe you'll blow backwards. Maybe I'll blow backwards. Who knows? I've got half an hour until my first Shadow Work Library seminar of the day. My European friends are going to be having a 90-minute deep dive into their shadow realms. And I thought, you know what? It's sunny, it's pretty, let's do a little live stream. I thought I wasn't going to do one today, wasn't really in the mood for it, but I just had a client session. I've got a bit of time before my seminar and then the New York seminar later today, so let's hang out together and talk about some shadow work. This is where we are currently. I see Maria saying, just setting off for a 14k sunset run. Am I going to be in your pocket, Maria, as you run through the terrain? I'm not going to give any personal information out, but a sense of myself there as you run through the local geography terrain that you'll be running through. We are currently out here on the side of the reservoir. I'll show everyone actually, why not? Why not show you where we're at? Should be able to just tilt you around, see? Reservoir here. You get the deal. First few minutes we do chit chat, then we go into a topic or two. Yeah, let me know if it'll be in your pocket, Maria. And anyone else who's watching live, say hello. Where are you watching from? What have you been reading? I will move down because the wind is going to blow you off, but this is where we're at. I had you anchored into the barbed wire. A beautiful reservoir. Keeps the golf course nice and healthy. Easy on the eyes. I'm going to take us for a walk. Let me know as we go down the hill, through the brambles. Where are you watching from in the world? What have you been reading this week? Tressa says it's her first time from Minnesota. Welcome, Tressa. Sapora's here. Hello, I'm watching from Minnesota. To Minnesota. Minnesota back to back. In the same minute, we've got two people from Minnesota joining the UK countryside. I have my nose shoved into meat in the shadow, but I couldn't resist this live. Very good. And Maria says, indeed, double wave emoji. We'll be watching the same sunset whilst you chat, which is obvious, but kind of cool. It is cool. It's cool to be in similar geographic locations. Let's all head down the hill together. Not need that right life jacket, life boat, life ring thing. Mr. Dan is in Vienna. I'm live streaming. This is just a real chat. We're just going to hang out today. Like literally, I've got half an hour until I have my proper work, where I'm going to do that group seminar. Shadow Work Library has been popping off. Let's just hang out together. See Casey in here from South Carolina, Mr. Dan from Vienna. Where else is everyone tuning in from? And navigate this bramble. So you got to start the live stream with an epic view so that people realize just how beautiful nature is. And then you get to take it down to a bit more of a calm, less windy level. The audio should be much better, and it's less intense on the senses as well. Look who I'm hanging out with. Someone who I've been talking about a lot these last few months. If you're wondering, like, oh, why is Jordan always talking about this shadow character? He's over here with me. He's coming for the stream. You know, strangely, I always try and catch my shadow, but whenever I go for him, he always seems to run away. Sneak up on him. Rarely works. Rarely works. One day though. One day I will finally catch my shadow. As Sapora has been meeting her shadow, we're all doing it together. Checking now in the chat, we've got Germany from Aura. We've got another person in Germany, two back-to-back Germanys Reading Healing the Soul by Mark Jones and Active World by Assagioli. At the moment, fantastic reads. Fantastic. Hopefully you guys have also had wonderful weather where you are. There's someone in Louisiana reading Trauma in the Soul, and Care of the Soul, and Embracing Your Inner Critic. Very good, very good. Okay, my friends, you need to help me out now, because I'm full of information, and full of guidance, and full of insight, but I do not know which parts of that you want unless you prompt me. So help me make this a useful 25 minutes for everyone. What would you like me to talk about? Talk about Jordan things, what's going on with me, what's happening in my life, what I'm up to personally, professionally. Talk about environmental things, talk about psychological things, talk about your things. What should we do? The choice is yours. I've got no agenda. I've literally got half an hour until it's time to answer some Shadow Work Library student inquiries. You'll notice that last week I did my final promotion deadline day price rise, $7.50 to $9.50 for the Shadow Work Library. That went well, all went good, lots of new people joined, still working through their new student inductions, and this week, even with the $9.50 price rise, 3 more students are joining us. And I pretty much believe that we'll probably maintain that throughout the year. 2 or 3 people per week. It's a good rate of new faces and still building up the energy inside the Shadow Work Library. It's been really good, really good. 3 months, imagine that, 3 months of building a new community. And we've got 111 members, 111, at the start of this week. 3-month launch, 111 members. Probably the space for 2 or 3 new people to join every single week, and 3 joined this week in particular at the new $9.50 price. You can see the link in the description if you're interested in getting involved. But tell me what you'd like. I'll put you down on this little thing here. How many books in my series? What do you mean, how many books in my series? If you mean books in the Shadow Work Library, my friend, there are 36 books in the Shadow Work Library. Let's hang out. Oh, that's good. That's chill. That's chill. Yeah, look at this. Yeah, this is a good spot. We are right next to a hole, so if a golfer comes, I will move. Otherwise, Bumblebee's here. Here comes a bee. On my hand, Mr. B. There he goes. What a life. What a life. What have we got in the chat? We've got greetings from Lancashire. Greetings from Hereford. Victor says, I will ask during the call later. Let the general public witness your wisdom. And Roya, good to see you here. Hopefully see you later as well. Welcome, welcome, Shadow Work Library students and YouTube audience as well. Amir Owen says, what it is to dwell, as my PhD is based on phenomenology of technology, the end frame / limits. Amir, you're going to have to expand on what you're asking here. I know you're deep on the PhD, the piled higher and deeper. Let me know where the heights and depths go, and I can talk about the topic potentially. I don't currently know what you're inviting me to talk about, but I'd like to know. Nina Town says, I'm curious how it's going for you living with the online business / coach persona. Tell you what, we'll talk about that. Got a few daisies here. You guys got daisies where you're at? Let's put some daisies in the weight vest, and I'll take a moment to think. This is yesterday's flower. Yesterday's flower. There's a little purple flower here. It's shriveled up already in the porch. We'll add in a few daisies for today's live stream. Because I am a delightful, charming man. And the sun indeed has come over the pond, as Johnny says. What is it like for me lately? It is... I'll be honest with you, hopefully I'm still audible. There we go. That's nice. Cool. A few daisies in there. What is it like to be Jordan? The first answer, because I've said many things over the last few months, is quite honestly, my friends, it is isolating. It's very isolating. Not lonely, not sad, not negative. It's just isolating in a neutral sense of the term. To be in a position where you've got a lot of responsibility and you've got some success that comes with that is fundamentally isolating, because there's fewer and fewer people who can relate to your life circumstance. So for me, my big challenge of the last few months has been understanding how do I balance the business, the many aspects of the business, the technical, the administrative, the teaching, the therapeutic, the coaching, the research, and the personal. The business isn't just the business. If you see me on YouTube, it's like, oh, Jordan's a YouTuber. Jordan does content creation. To some degree, I do that. But I also do a hell of a lot more that's not that. I have a lot of emotional responsibility. And then some of the rewards that come my way, if you want to call them that, financial or status or reputation, you get more and more isolated the more you go up this ladder of progression. And I have coaching friends and teaching friends, and they can relate to it, and I get to have conversations with some close friends about this. But in a general sense, you become a strange figure. You become a bit of an isolated figure. I think I'll leave it there. I'm going through it. I'm still showing up. I'm still here. Like, right, I'm still making the time for the live stream. I'm still really enjoying the conversations with my students. But when you are responsible for, now at this stage, 111 students in the Shadow Work Library, a fully booked client load of 5 clients every single week, in comments and DMs, there are potentially hundreds of messages that I get. There's a red kite coming in. There's that. You see? There he is. Wow. It's more interesting than me. Look at that. Bird of prey. Part of the hawk family. Blah, 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 blah. Jordan's got all kinds of successful person problems. Blah, 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 blah. It's fun. I'm tired of talking about it, to be honest. I've spoken at length with my closest friends, and they've given me great advice and great guidance. Victor says, everyone knows you, but it is hard to let everyone know you. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Some of you who are watching these live streams know more about me than friends who are maybe I was really close to 2 or 3 years ago. I share a lot of myself with the internet. As a result, I've got a bit of a public persona. Johnny says, every day is another opportunity to make oneself happy. I, like Jordan, get happier when those around me are happy. Yeah, me too. Me too. The main thing that I've had, I mean, my friends, honestly, I'll say this. I'm at my worst, or I get my most anxious, or most disconnected from my soul, when I make it too much about me. When I just empty myself out and I surrender to my client sessions of the day, this live stream that I'm doing before the client seminars tonight, or the student seminars, I should be more accurate, I'm happier as a man. The main challenge of the last few months, business-wise for me, has been understanding different accountancy structures and tax laws and money things and business things. And comparatively, compared to my overall well-being, it's made me sadder. I had a very interesting conversation with my friend about trying to find ways to make money, spend money, everything money, manage money. And I'm less happy talking about these things than observing, the deer that I've now got in my garden. If you've seen me on the Instagram stories, a small deer has moved into my garden. There's a story up on Instagram right now. I now have temporary custodianship and stewardship over a deer. Baby deer, not baby deer, just a small species of deer. It's more interesting. It's more interesting. So I want to help people, and I'm trying to organize my psyche and my persona in a way that allows me to maximally help people on a reliable and consistent basis on YouTube. Basically, clients, students, audience. 3 categories of identity. I'm trying to figure it out. I am trying to figure it out. We're getting there. We are getting there, but showing up even while it's messy. You can tell Jordan's rambling. I'm just on a walk. Like, we're just on a walk. You can very much tell that I didn't come out to do this live stream with, I'm going to pitch you something, or I'm going to talk about a certain topic. And just being visible, rather than not posting something today, or not sharing, or not showing up and talking with the people who care about what I'm doing, and maybe give a bit of advice or something. I'm showing up. I'm showing up. Oh, great question. Thank you, Maria, for giving me a prompt. Maria says in the chat, I have a question. How do we stop idolizing people? Very good question. The question of idolization is a golden shadow issue. If you are caught in pedestalizing someone, you are fundamentally at risk of eventually demonizing them. A pedestal can only go so high before naturally the psyche compensates and you demonize. Think of relationships, for example. You fall in love with someone, pedestal, 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 then suddenly, bam, demonized, and then suddenly pedestal, 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 and then whoom, demonized, and you get literally, like in this moment, you got the pedestalized side in the light, got the shadow side over here in the dark. What happens when you idolize is you're obsessively and compulsively putting them in the light. Of course, it's blinding, and you're missing out on the whole other side of their darkness. That's number one. Number one is to realize that idolizing is never just idolizing. Eventually you will demonize. If it hasn't happened yet, you will. One thing I know for myself as a public figure is that when people start idolizing me or pedestalizing me, I know that inevitably I will do something that they perceive as being evil or demonic because they painted me as angelic or godly in some way. I'm like, oh, you're just not seeing me. You're seeing yourself projected outwards. You're seeing character traits and virtues and values that you see me embodying or exemplifying. And you're just forgetting, my friend, that this is you. You're taking this in and you're launching it out and painting it on me. And inevitably, what will happen within days, weeks or months, the other side of their insides will come out. And all kinds of crazy things happen. Imagine what it's like in my DMs sometimes. I've had people saying very, very crazy things, conspiracies, outlandish things, whether or not I am who I say I am, all this kind of stuff. So I know it from the inside. If you want to stop idolizing, and you want to get more of a grounded understanding of who someone is that you're putting above yourself, basically, in a short summary, Maria, you need to work with the superiority complex and the inferiority complex. You're currently trapped in an overly devalued inferiority position, and there are people in your outer life that are overly trapped in the superior position. If you raise up your base self-esteem and self-love and self-congratulation and self-reputation, you naturally then diminish the reputation that you place on others. It doesn't mean that you hate them, just do a 20% shift. If you're artificially deflated, give yourself a 20% authentic inflation. If they're artificially inflated, give them a 20% authentic deflation. And eventually you get the right balance between the inferior and the superior. If you're caught in certain dynamics and you find this difficult, look towards the various childhood stories around shame. Look towards various parental dynamics as well. Was there a parent that you pedestalized or idolized? Was one of your parents a hero who could do no wrong? If you start working with those original wounds and original stories, you might find some pretty useful tips. Hopefully that helps. I'll move on to the next question though, just so I can cover a variety of things in this time around. Hopefully that helped, Maria. Just a bit of guidance towards the overall what you need to do. Just realizing that you're artificially undervalued at the interior level, and that's why you have the hook to them being artificially overvalued at the exterior level. If you do the inside game approach first, they will naturally lower, and then you don't need to swing towards demonization or be caught up in all kinds of shadow boxing dynamics. I mean, our shadow can hang out with us here. There's no reason to go like this, or maybe down here, like this. That one. Yeah, don't know if that comes up on the camera. You don't need to do that. You don't need to give the middle finger to your own shadow. But many of us do it anyway. Many of us do it constantly. Whether our heroes, our idols, our enemies, our villains. Neurotic. That's what it is. We've all been there. Maria says, super helpful. Thank you, and we'll look into that further. Thank you. Mr. Dan says, do you think that if someone would do individuation and the bodywork and so on, that one would be extroverted like all of us was a child, or are people inherently destined to remain introverted? Great question. So the essence of this question here is that if you do conscious self-reflection and you work through your inner work process, as it were, in essence, will you shift from being an introverted individual to an extroverted individual? Is the optimal state of health to be more of an extrovert? Good question, right? Good community question, actually. What do you think? What does the chat think? When you become healed, will you become more extroverted? Will you naturally become more social? What's your experience been? Let's do a little community poll before I say anything. Victor says balance. Let's get involved, people. Come on. I know it's a lazy Sunday, but use those fingers for good. Get involved in the community over here. It's a lot more fun for me, a lot more fun for you. I will be able to take the energy that's given me and mirror it back tenfold. If it's not given, I can't give it back. What are people saying? Here we go, they're coming in the chat. Fantastic. Keep them going, keep them going. When you heal, do you become more extroverted? If you're more naturally introverted. Going up towards the hole. Whew. You know the spot, guys? This is the view. The view. I come up here almost every day to my spot, and my spot, I will come back into the chat. My spot now has a variety of flowers growing in the root system. Here like this. Keep them coming in the chat. What do people think about extroversion, introversion, and the healing path? I'll show you some flowers. Check this out. This is where I sit. I sit just in here. And check these flowers out. Whew. Fantastic. You see them? Look at that. Gorgeous. Gorgeous little purple flowers. That was the same flower that you saw in my weight vest from yesterday. Good chat, guys. I appreciate it. Look at this. We're popping off. We are popping off. Some good conversation here. Let's see what people are saying, shall we? Do we become more extroverted as we heal ourselves? Or is there such a thing as natural introversion? Some comments from the chat. Brianna says, absolutely, you become more confident. Whisper of the Goddess says, being extroverted drains my energy. Nurture Source says, you become both and neither. High level, non-dual perspective. Johnny says, I am INFJ, but when required, I can go into extroversion at will. Yep. Aura says, you have to balance it, depends on the context. Class says, I'm personally selective with who I give my vital energy to, but I can open up and be quite extroverted. I agree. Ryan says, I'd say so, but I guess it depends on individual personality. Nina Town says, I'm still introverted, but now I'm able to be completely extroverted if I want to. Before I couldn't. Chapter says, Jordan, thanks for being the best creator in the psychology/mental health/shadow work space. Genuinely changed my life. It's an unexpected compliment. I appreciate that. Make sure to be reading the books. They are much better than what I can share on a YouTube video. People really are worth your attention. Go to the book list, but thank you. Thank you as well. I receive your compliment and amplify towards the wider world of the last 120 years of psychological literature. Silver Fascia says, your shame is tamed and you feel more deserving of interdependence. That's good. Lux says, once I healed a bit, I became more social and stood on stage and opened myself a bit more towards others. Fantastic. Kaz says, I'm still on my healing journey, and I feel that being extroverted is still something that I struggle with. I have more confidence to do my own thing, but still I'm not a very social person. People are talking about shame and guilt, people are talking about the unfolding of the dwelling. Emir, I appreciate your comments here. I might not be able to come around to it this time around, just because of this conversation. And then more introversion, extroversion, HSP, works for me. I was an extrovert, introvert, okay, we've got a mix of opinions. I'm going to show you guys a view. Why not? I've got 5 minutes, and then I need to go back down the hill for the seminar. Put you in the tree. If the mic makes a noise, I apologise. It will be just a temporary bit of sound. You are being put into a tree right now, so hence the noise. There we go. What do I think? Does it even matter? My experience of healing is that if you focus on the principle of safety, what happens when you become more safe is the underlying question behind this question. The initial question is, when you heal, do you become more extroverted? Is that more of a natural, healthy human state? What I would look at beneath that question is what happens when a human is safe. Is there such a thing as a safe human expressing generally in a certain pattern compared to another pattern? I would say yes. What I'd invite your attention towards is if you look at childhood developmental psychology and you look at what happens to a safe baby, a safe toddler, a safe child, generally speaking, they're a little bit more extroverted at times, but also when they're introverted, they're relaxed in their introversion. The quality and the texture and the essence of their extroversion or introversion is uplifted based on their safety. But I don't believe, based on my research, based on my actual experience, based on working with clients, that someone's fundamental temperament changes if they become more healed. For me personally, I'm a very introverted man, and yet at the same time, as I become more and more healed, the crows are out, the crows are fantastic. As I've become more and more healed, I have become more extroverted in the fact that here I am doing a live stream to 60 or so people in between a client seminar and then a group seminar. But no, I'm saying the words. Blah, 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 blah. The answer is it depends. And yet, some people, maybe you, had a persona mask or a survival strategy that they developed early on in childhood, and they're not actually in contact with what their true self actually feels like. Some people say they're introverted. Reality is you're just scared of other people. Some people say they're introverted. The reality is they just don't feel very confident being their true self because they're worried about the violence that may come towards them. Some people say they're extroverted. The reality is they're anxious when they're alone, and they kind of have a clutching, a craving, a compulsive need to gravitate towards other people and do anything but being with themselves. Are they organically extroverted? Are they organically introverted? If they've got all kinds of neuroses beneath the surface of their introversion or extroversion, what do we say to someone whose introversion or extroversion has become a survival strategy rather than an authentic character expression? That's where I'd take the conversation. For me personally, I seem to be an introvert. And yet, as I've gotten healthier and happier and more safe, I have more extroverted moments. Other people that I've noticed who've been extroverted, as they become healthier and happier and safe, they realise that actually they're more introverted. But then again, I have a very selective sample size. Anyone who comes to work with me as a client, if they're interested in spending this much time reading books, this much time doing active imagination and dream work, this much time in meditation and nature walks, they're probably a little bit more introverted than their social or business persona might conceivably allow. Does this make sense to people? Let me know in the chat. Does this make sense to you? Can you relate to this idea of like what is authentic introversion or authentic extroversion? Can you see this idea that maybe as a child something happened, or you were living in an environment where you had to play a certain role, and that this could change like quite dramatically, like taking the mask off as you become healthier and happier? I can see in the chat it makes total sense. I see Silver Fascia saying absolutely. Easy Daisy joining in, saying hi everyone, hope everyone is having a good Sunday, glad to caught this live. Victor saying good to see you, Spora, hope you're enjoying Shadowwork Library, be back on US call at the end of April. Good to see you here, Victor. Victor, as one of my Shadowwork Library students, can you let me know the time, please? How long do we have until the seminar? Victor, please let me know in the chat, how long do we have until that 7 o'clock UK seminar? Because I might need to make a move down the hill. In which case I'll do a downwards facing live stream as we get there. I wouldn't want to be late for my students. Celine says, I feel the same way and I like the idea of feeling safe. I've gotten more extroverted, more AL. Yeah, me too. I've generally gotten a little bit more extroverted, but I'm still very introverted. I'm very confident around people, I'm safe around people, I feel safe in myself, but I am an introverted man all the way through. Victor says I've got 12 minutes until the seminar. Fucking hell. Okay, Victor, we've got to race down. I've got 12 minutes until the seminar. My God, my friends. Might need to do a bit of a jog. Might get to do a bit of a weighted jog. There we go. I'll do a bit of a. Gotta get down for the students. The students need me. These shadows ain't gonna integrate themselves. I'm not gonna run. It's ridiculous. Only 5 minutes. It's all fine. Yeah, these shadows ain't gonna integrate themselves. It's always easier going downhill than uphill. I've got about 3 minutes until I need to end this live stream. I'm gonna get inside, make myself a matcha, get on that Shadow Work Library seminar, set up my laptop, do all these things. My shoelace is undone. We got no time for this. Actually, we do have time for this. I'll put you down and tie my shoes. See, don't run down a hill when your shoelace is undone while wearing a weight vest while live streaming. Things are all going right, things are all going wrong. I'll put you down for a second. There we go. We're preparing. We are preparing, my friends. I've got 25 to 30 students in the Shadow Work Library. They need me. They need my guidance, my wisdom. They need me to be cheeky and give wise, profound insights into their inner worlds. And maybe point them towards the books that they should be reading. Shh. Bit of fun. See the fun in the chat as well. Thank you for being here. This is Bora. Yeah, many people in the chat. I can't read the chat right now because we are moving immediately downhill. My final closing message for the day, if you haven't already, is see if you can spend more time outside this new week. April is just around the corner. It's Aries season, as they say. Get your horns out, charge into life. I'm gonna move into the forest, or this way. I'll go this way. I'll go slightly around and say goodbye to everyone. Get out into nature. Get away from the wind. Get into the wind. Do something. Read a book. Never said that one before. Read a book. Novel idea. A beautiful life. I'm very grateful. Very grateful. You can tell my energy's different. From the start of the live stream when I had one-to-one seminar, right? So I had a one-to-one seminar this afternoon and then went out to do the live stream. I'm in one-to-one consciousness. So I was a bit slower, a bit more scattered. And then as soon as I invited people to talk in the chat, a bit more conversation flows, a bit more group energy. I'm now warmed up for group vibes, as it were. I then get to go back down, run the group seminar, get a move on as well. My friends, if you like what I've been saying and you're not yet in the Shadow Work Library, 3 more people joined this week at the new price of $9.50. It's a one-time fee. It's where my best work is. If you're wondering why I haven't been posting YouTube videos, it's because if you message me in the Shadow Work Library, you get one-to-one attention a little bit. Not too much. It's not like doing a client mentorship, but I'll help. If you want to be able to talk to me, if you want to hang out in the seminar I'm about to get to, you could. It's like, join me inside if you want to join me inside. I've got to go. I've got a seminar in like 7 minutes. I don't want to let these students down, so goodbye, my friends. I'm getting sunlight. Gotta have a good closing scene, right? There we go. Oh, jogging feels good. Feels good. 10 kg ain't no issue. Maria says, good company, 6k into a run. Maria started a run. She's 6k in. I'm gonna run down the hill. Goodbye, my friends, until next week. I will see you next week. Time for me to run. I'll be back. Be well, everyone. Bye-bye.